Hello, and welcome to Season 3 of Free Speech, the Naturally United podcast, where we talk about issues that affect humans on an everyday basis, and that has to do with Earth, the environment, space, and all things in between. And today, we are going to be talking about a topic that we had more people submit to us to talk about than any other topic we have ever had suggested, and that, as I'm sure you can guess from the title of this video, is the coronavirus. Now, before I get into this, I do want to kind of preface it in saying I don't want this video to cause you to panic in any way. There are appropriate measures that you can take in order to protect yourself, and I'm going to go over all of those throughout the course of this video. So, to kind of summarize what has gone on with the coronavirus, there have been 106 confirmed deaths, along with 4,500 cases, most of which in China, where the disease originated. On top of that, the United States has issued a travel warning suggesting if you don't have to be in China, they suggest that you should not go there. If it's not an essential reason for your life, they're saying it's not worth the risk. And beyond that, China is also, by the end of this week, supposed to cut off all travel through their borders with trains. And now that just goes to show how serious this could potentially be. But all of these are the government, the CDC, and the World Health Organization taking the proper measures to make sure if this is incredibly dangerous that we can do everything within our power to stop it from being what it potentially could be. And so the coronavirus, it's a group of diseases that infects mammals and birds, but this is a particular strain that we're seeing developed. And so the symptoms can range from anything from the common cold to acute respiratory syndrome, also known as SARS. And the signs of infection have been fever, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, pneumonia, SARS, kidney failure, all the way to death. And so that is obviously something that is very serious and worth considering in your own life. And so these are the tips from the CDC in Atlanta, Georgia, that will lessen your likelihood of running into an issue. They suggest that you wash your hands regularly, that if you cough or sneeze, you should cover your mouth. And beyond that, if you're cooking meat or eggs, you should thoroughly cook them, along with avoiding people who have respiratory illness. And that doesn't mean everyone with respiratory illness has a coronavirus whatsoever, but that is one of the telltale signs that that person might have the disease. And so Japan and Germany have cases from people who didn't even travel to China but interacted with coworkers who had been from China or in China recently. And so that just goes to show how quickly this has the potential to spread. So the epicenter of where this is coming from is Wuhan, China, which has been on lockdown because it is the epicenter of where this is coming from. The Chinese army has even stepped in as much as to try and protect the people and do anything that they can to lessen the burden of everybody there, given a lot of people are forced to stay within their homes. And then there are also 2 new hospitals that are being created in order to help treat people because the average number of people going to hospitals in Wuhan has increased 5 times the normal amount. So people in Wuhan are taking this very seriously, and cases have gone all around the globe. So it's affected people in Australia, Cambodia, Canada, France, Germany, Ivory Coast, Japan, Malaysia, Nepal, Singapore, South Korea, Thailand, the United States, and Vietnam. So clearly, this is a global issue. This is something that scientists all across the world are looking into, and something that you should follow the progress of. It's not something that you should panic about right now. It's not something that will most likely affect your everyday life so long as you're not close to Wuhan, China, but it is important to track and to follow and to know what's going on so that if it does get to the point where you shouldn't leave your house, then you know. So, the particular coronavirus that we are talking about, that the media will be reporting on, is novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV. So on December 31st, 2019, there was a very, very bad pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China. And that led the World Health Organization to title the disease 2019 nCoV. So the Wuhan strain, it's identified as a beta coronavirus from group B2. Basically what that means is it has a 70% genetic similarity to the SARS coronavirus that we've seen proliferate in the past. So certain scientists are saying that this was derived from snakes, but there's no real scientific consensus as to the cause of this disease, where it's coming from, and what we can do to make sure that it won't spread any more than it has. So what's terrifying to me in particular about this virus is that it's airborne. So it's transmitted from person to person, And it's believed that the virus came from a seafood market in Wuhan. And that's where patient 0 comes from. And we're thinking that it jumped from an animal to a human. And from there, this is the 7th coronavirus that we have been able to find in humans. And there have been 2 situations in the past where it's been very damaging and worth our attention. So the SARS and the MERS are the 2, so it's SARS and MERS have been the 2 cases in the past. SARS was in 2002, where there were thousands of cases reported along with 774 confirmed deaths. And then MERS emerged in the Arabian Peninsula and has a 30 to 40% death rate. And so these were both cases that showed to us that this type of virus had the potential to spread very quickly. And so what you need to keep in mind right now, as someone, I'm in America, but wherever you are, keep an eye out on what's going on, but don't freak out. It is something that you want to take the proper precautions for, but it's yet to develop very deeply. And so avoiding China is definitely something that you should do if it's within your control. Is if you don't have to go to China, you should not go there. But beyond that, it isn't something that you need to change your course of action quite yet, but it's something that you're going to want to watch and keep careful look over just to make sure that you're not putting yourself in harm's way.